Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. It is I coming at you once again, your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg. And today, we've got some very big news for upcoming Star Wars movies. And before we dive into the main topic, which is the Mandalorian and Grogu, we just had a huge announcement. Star Wars Starfighter has wrapped principal photography. Shawn Levy shared a brand new behind the scenes photo, and he was elated with joy. And now they're moving into post. So the Mandalorian and Grogu is not the only upcoming film that has now finished filming. This is a huge day, and Matt Smith, who plays one of the villains, has also confirmed he's wrapped up his scenes. In addition, he showed off his new haircut, which he says his character sports in the film. Really excited to learn about both him and Mia Goth. Some really amazing casting, if I might say so myself. And it's got nothing to do with the fact that I'm British, I swear. But I think a major reason fans are so impressed that Starfighter actually wrapped is how few leaks there have been. Aside from the unfounded rumours about Mara Jade or Luke's secret child, there haven't been any major official leaks. And I would argue that's probably for the best. I'm kind of glad I don't know anything about this film. Such incredible talent working on this. We're diving into the post-Episode 9 era, probably minimal connections to the sequel trilogy, so I'm hoping it's a big win. But our biggest topic is the Mandalorian and Grogu. So this has been a very strange 24 hours as a Star Wars fan. There is a second Mandalorian and Grogu trailer that is supposed to be coming out sometime very soon, and it's been leaked online. But every time someone has reposted it, Disney has gone scorched earth on them. They've been doing the same with the Doomsday trailer, and I suppose it makes sense. You know, they own it, it's copyrighted, it's not been released yet in any official capacity, but at the same time, fans are wondering, what are they waiting for? Well, it turns out, the trailer did release in front of Avatar Fire and Ash, and it's mostly old footage, but it also has a couple of new scenes, and those are very important. Now we'll talk about what's in the trailer in just a moment, but it's brought up a wider question. Why is Star Wars social media so quiet about this movie? Why haven't they posted these additional scenes online? I'm hoping we get a second unique trailer at some point, with entirely new footage, but at the moment, it's radio silence. Most casual fans don't even know there's a new Star Wars film coming soon. And I'm sure just like with most Star Wars movies, there will be a second trailer closer to the release date, but they could at least hype it the way that Marvel does with their movies. Avengers Doomsday has a countdown now, there is anticipation and build-up. Sometimes it feels like Disney just doesn't care about Star Wars. It's just how it feels. So let's talk about this trailer. The first shot is on the new Razor Crest. Din Djarin is strapping Grogu in, and he tells him, if we're going into harm's way, check your armor first. It's gonna fit snug, so it doesn't slide. Not so tight that it restricts your movement. And then Grogu gives a nod of acknowledgement. And this is quite significant because, as we've spoken about before, Grogu is finally starting to properly communicate, and so he gives a full-headed nod. The rest of the trailer is more or less the same, but there is a scene where Din uses a flamethrower on snowtroopers, remnant snowtroopers, but it's the end scene after the logo that is of interest, and it shows an extended version of the gladiator fight. We see Din Djarin mounting the Mantelian Savrip, but that's not the only creature in the ring. There are other monsters, other aliens, that originate on the Dedrick Hollow chessboard, the game Chewie plays in A New Hope. Dedrick has appeared across the saga, both in live action and animation, but finally after 50 years, we're gonna see these monsters close up, not just on a chessboard, and the ones included are a Monarch, a Kintan Strider, which by the way was the name of a gang in the Book of Boba Fett, like I say a Mantelian Savrip, and an Ungok. And it's no secret Jon Favreau loves his monsters and creature designs, and I have to say ILM did a great job, and we finally have our answer to why Din Djarin has a new sword. He uses it against these monsters. We don't know where he gets it from, he might have taken it from Rotta, but he's fighting these creatures with that sword, the one that was included in the Black Series figure. But having seen the footage, I think these are a great little callback. I know Star Wars is often criticised for being way too self-referential these days, but now that I think of it, it's about time we saw these aliens up close and personal in live action. And I saw a funny joke. Someone said, imagine if the gladiator ring is called the Dedrick ring. Okay, that's a bit too on the nose, but I was encouraged by this footage, and it really shows you how aggressive and menacing some of these creatures are. and one of them, the Ungok, looks a lot like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. But I've also seen people say Jon Favreau ripped off Stranger Things, that this is clearly a nod to the Netflix show, but these have existed in Star Wars canon since day one. I will grant you that the design is very Stranger Things-like. When it opens its mouth, maybe there was a bit of deliberate inspiration there, but they look more or less the same in other content. In canon or legends, they've always had the same kind of appendages. So that's the latest situation with those leaks, but now we move on to the fan response, and it's been very divided. Now here's the thing, whenever I've spoken about the movie, I've always tried to be level-headed. I'm a positive person, I'm still looking forward to The Mandalorian and Grogu despite my criticisms of Lucasfilm strategies, and what I've been trying to say for months and months is that while there is some fan hype for this film, there are simultaneously so many who either don't care or don't think this movie is a good idea. And it goes hand in hand with Star Wars apathy, the state of the franchise not being in the best position, and it's fine to say, well, I'm still excited as a Star Wars fan. It's important to notice audience trends. So whenever I've talked about Mando, I've given you my theories, I've told you the box office could go either way, but I'm trying to be realistic, and I have noticed most Star Wars fans outside of our little bubble don't care about this film. They just don't. The Glup Shito Olympics. Glup Shito being a term of endearment for Star Wars characters with obscure or minor roles. This person says, "Have said this a bunch, but I'll say it again. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni's opinion on what Star Wars fans want is stuck in 2020. Baby Yoda being cute and action figure smashing after Andor is insane. People have higher expectations now, and for good reason. And this opinion, whether you like it or you don't, or you think it's toxic, is one that is shared by thousands and thousands of fans. We can talk about the impact of the Book of Boba Fett, we can talk about Mando Season 3, but whatever the case, we're not in the same place we were in 2020, when Mando Season 2 dropped and the hype was on levels we'd never seen before. A lot has happened since, and maybe Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni haven't moved on. There are still plenty of Mando fans, but the drop-off has been pretty wild, and to deny that is just denying reality at this point. It's just a fact, people just don't trust Lucasfilm the way they did. They really are just smashing action figures together and calling it a day. I mean, yes, it is a very action-heavy film. I would actually say that's one thing that's going for it. Just the spectacle of seeing Mando in action like this, on the big screen. If this is how the actual scene is edited, then holy F, this is bad. Really weird editing, but at least the lighting and effects look better than the first trailer. But man, this is getting no attention. And that's another thing, I've seen other creators say the same thing. There was a Mando trailer that leaked, and it got such little attention. If there was a Mando leak a couple of years ago, it would have gone viral. Of all the 2026 movies, this one really feels left behind. I don't think the movie is doomed though. I think if they get the marketing right, and it grabs the attention of families and kids, then I think they're in for a shot. But at the moment, it's dead silence. And I'm saying this as someone who still watches this stuff, who still cares. But you can't deny that Lucasfilm should be doing more to promote this. If you want to talk about mistakes from the creative perspective, that this movie was a bad idea in the first place, that's a different discussion. But with the situation, as it currently is, with the movie coming out in just a few months' time, it's really bad that things like this don't get any attention. And I know people like to hate on Star Wars fans, and people like to blame us, but we are the heart of this franchise. We're loud, we're passionate, but it comes from a place of wanting Star Wars to be better, and years of frustration at the way fans have been treated by Lucasfilm, at least this current iteration, and so I'm not surprised that people are saying this stuff. And there is something to be said about the Andor effect. It set a new bar for the quality Star Wars should always be at. No matter the genre, no matter how serious or juvenile, it should always strive to be that good. Top quality, no excuses. But what do you guys think? Are you excited for The Mandalorian and Grogu? What do you make of these new leaks? Share your thoughts in the comments down below.